So according to this decision, respondent insists on the Court of Appeals ruling that based on another Supreme Court decision, the 1-year prescriptive period should be reckoned from the date of the last demand to vacate. A judicious review of these cases and jurisprudence, both old and recent, reveals that the 1-year time bar in forcible entry cases is reckoned from the date of discovery of the encroachment, not from the date of the last demand to vacate. In the 1965 case of Ganancial, Hilario Ganancial filed a complaint for forcible entry against Leonardo Atilio. On April 24, 1961, he alleged that on February 6, 1960, Atilio occupied his property through strategy, stealth, and force. When the municipal court's jurisdiction was questioned, Ganancial argued that the 1-year prescriptive period should be counted from February 3, 1961, the date when he sent the notice to vacate. In resolving the case, this court ruled that the municipal court had no jurisdiction over the ejectment suit because the reckoning period of the prescriptive period or the reckoning point of the prescriptive period is the date of dispossession, not the date of the demand to vacate. So, important, no? In so ruling, the stand of plaintiffs' appellants that the commencement of the period within which to bring the action in the municipal court should be from the date of demand to vacate the premises is untenable under the facts obtaining in the case at bar. It is clear from the pleadings that plaintiffs knew of the possession of illegal entry since February 6, 1960, and they offered no alibi for not knowing it. Having knowledge of this fact, it stands to reason that the commencement of the 1-year period should be, as it is, the very date of illegal entry. The subsequent case of Elaine is not as straightforward. This 1989 case involves an action for forcible entry through stealth. In ruling that the prescriptive period had not lapsed when the complaint was filed, this court stated, where forcible entry was thus made clandestinely, the 1-year prescriptive period should be counted from the time private respondent demanded that the deforciant desist from such dispossession when the former learned thereof. The records reflect that such discovery and prohibition took place on February 15, 1980, reiterated thereafter in the demand letter of March 1, 1980, both to no avail. Consequently, the 1-year period had not expired on March 6, 1980, when private respondent filed the ejectment suit with the then City Court of Olongapo City. Okay. So this is another case. It was just cited in this case between ABC Telco versus XYZ Appliance. This court seemed to have been indecisive on the basis of its ruling in that other case. This was because whether the reckoning period was from the date of discovery or the date of demand to vacate, the suit filed on March 6, 1980 was well within the 1-year prescriptive period. Citing the case of Viuda de Preto versus Reyes, this court stated that the reckoning period should be from the time private respondent demanded that the deforciant desist from such dispossession when the former learned thereof. This pronouncement seemingly caused this confusion. A careful reading of the case of Viuda de Preto will explain the inconsistency. In this 1965 case, Consuelo Viuda de Preto filed a case for illegal detainer against Paciencia Reyes. She alleged that Reyes built a house on her lot through stealth, strategy, and misrepresentation. Upon discovering the encroachment in January 1952, she sent Reyes letters to vacate the following month. But Reyes averred that there was no jurisdiction over the case because she had been in possession of the lot since December 1948. Hence, when the action was filed in April 1952, the action had already prescribed. In ruling that there was the jurisdiction, this court held that because the intrusion was done through stealth, the action's prescriptive period could not be counted from the date of encroachment in 1948. The ratio of the decision reads, it is insisted now that both trial courts lack jurisdiction to entertain the illegal detainer suit because Reyes had been in possession since December 1948, and the action was started only in 1952, and that it was an error to consider that the year for the summary action should be counted only from the time the owner learned of Reyes's encroachment. The contention is unmeritorious. There is a natural difference between an entry secured by force or violence and one obtained by stealth, as in the case before us. The owner or possessor of the land could not be expected to enforce his right to its possession against the illegal occupant and sue the latter before learning of the clandestine intrusion, and to deprive the lawful possessor of the benefit of the summary action under Rule 70 of the Rules of Court, or the Rule 70 of the Revised Rules, simply because the stealthy intruder manages to conceal the trespass for more than a year, would be to reward clandestine usurpations even if they are unlawful. In concluding the decision, however, the court erroneously remarked that since there can be possession by tolerance, the prescriptive period must be counted from the time that there was a demand to vacate. At the very end of the decision, it noted, besides, since there can be possession by tolerance, this court has repeatedly held that possession or detainer becomes illegal only from the time that there is a demand to vacate. Hence, the year for bringing the action for illegal detainer should be counted only from such demand. Such in the case before us. The first demand to vacate was made in February of 1952, and the complaint was filed in April of the same year. The plea of lack of jurisdiction has nothing to support it. So the carelessness of injecting the concept of possession by tolerance led this court in the case of Viuda de Prieto to erroneously mix up rules on forcible entry and unlawful detainer. The discussion on possession by tolerance, which is only applicable in unlawful detainer cases, was a patent error. In cases of forcible entry through stealth, there can be no possession by tolerance, precisely because the owner could not have known beforehand that someone else possessed his or her property. Thus, he or she could not have tolerated the possession of the intruder. Taas yun siya nga decision, guys. Pero daghan pa kay nindot. Ato ni humanon, nindot good siya nga decision, pero murag taas na kayo ang video. So I'll see you in the next episode.